I remember Steve Hodge trying to get a back pass that went in the air, and I'm thinking Peter Shilton's going to get it. I seen Diego go up with a hand, and then the stadium erupted. Just amazing. Obviously, it was full of mainly Argentina fans, so it just was there. Trying to run after the referee, Ali bin. What's his name? Hassan. Yeah, Ali bin Hassan, Tunisian, trying to. I think it was me, Glenn, or Terry Fenwick trying to get into him, but obviously he gave the goal and that was it. But I mean, it's called the hand of God ball, which is cheating. But it's all the other ball as well, which I couldn't get near him. One of the best goals ever scored in the World Cup. So it's the elite and fantastic to cheating. So I think that's why it's so iconic and why the game's so iconic, you know. And that is just history. That's the way it is. You know, I get asked it. You know, we're here talking about it now, 30 odd years later. So that's it. You know, and if I go out now and people who are old enough to, that's all they ask me about. And I had a good career. I won things. I played for my country. I managed. All the days. Why did you catch Maradona? I did. Funny enough, I met him in Dubai. I met him in Jordan, Soccer X, I think. And we had chats through an interpreter, obviously, and. It was warm. Because I was going. You cheat. Tell him he's a cheat and cheat. So he just shrugged his shoulders and said, football. And then he come back and through the interpreter he said, the second goal. You were very, very slow. I went, brilliant. Killed myself laughing. He laughed, and we had chats about football. And it was his birthday a couple of days ago, funny enough, and. He threw his shirt at me, Argentinian shirt. What's that? Looked at it, and it's got, to my good friend Pedro, lots of love. Diego Maradona, and I've got it. So, hey, listen, he cheated for the first one. He was genius. I'll tell you what he was though, because believe it or not, I got close to him once or twice and give it to him. Besides being a brilliant technical player, strong boy, and he was one of the greatest players ever to walk the planet. I'm quietly confident, if I'm honest. I think the build-up hasn't been great. The Nations Cup, whatever it's called, I don't know what it's called, that competition. We haven't been great, but I think Garrett's been having a look at it, and I think that will take a bit of pressure off. If we'd have won all them games and everyone would have been going, we're going to win it, we go. But now people are a little bit. I'm quietly confident. I think he's got a good squad of players. I think he's got good attacking players, and we can keep clean sheets. So I think we've got a really good chance. And if the injuries, I hope Reece James and Saka are fit. Reece James is a good player, but you know we've got good attacking players. Kane's a great striker. You know, Bellingham, Sterling. We've got the Fodens, the Grealishes. We've got the strength in there, the Rices. You know, John Stones. A lot of people have a go at Harry Maguire. Hopefully that game he's had for Manchester United give him a bit of strength at the back. To be fair, I don't care. Who would I say? You never write off the Germans, and you never write off Argentina, do you, with Messi in the side? Or Brazil. Brazil have got some strong players and good attacking. I said it's going to be a great World Cup. I know people, it's controversial, it's in Qatar. They made the decision, we're over there, let's get on with it.
Yes, I was on the pitch, I hardly touched that ball, not many times. I think I had more touches of Maradona than the actual football itself. But it's a unique ball. I feel very strange with it being in the same room, because I don't really want to touch it because it holds just so many bad memories for me. You know, it's a ball that, you know, has special significance for the hand of God goal, for the wonderful second goal he scored, and also for the Gary Lineker scoring for the Golden Boot. Plus the fact it's the original one, and he went out of play, it came back. Not multi-ball now, where people keep the ball and all that sort of thing as well. So yeah, it is unique, and I think the more that you look at the ball, the more unique it becomes to you because of the significance and the history and all these kind of things too. Well, I met with him in the drugs testing room after the game, and he said, he indicated to me that he headed the ball, so he's very astute and very clever, because I think we might have lost our heads, a few Englishmen in that room. But it was only after the game where you realised what happened. And I think for he didn't really come out and apologise and just say, look, well, I did cheat and all that sort of thing, which I think if we'd done that, I think we would have accepted it very much easier. But it was at a time where the morals and the ethics of the game, the romanticism of the game was very high. You just didn't do that. If players did that in the English game and cheated like that, then punched the ball in the back of the net and things like this, then they would have been frowned upon and probably kicked to death sort of thing. So it was something that you didn't do. But for him to do it on that stage and then not take responsibility for it was very disappointing, and that sort of added to the hurt and the anxiety. Well, I think a lot of people would see them as being a lot less of a favourites, or a lot less looking like winners, because of this season, this year has been very disappointing internationally for England. So in a way, when you look at it and step back and look, it's dropped the expectations. The expectation level's down now compared to what it was at the start of the year. And I think a lot of that was like very similar to Russia in 2018, when a lot of people were not expecting England to do particularly well. With Belgium in the group as well out there, it was like, oh my goodness me, we're gonna not struggle, but we're up against one of the favourites of the tournament straight away. And I think because the expectation level was low, England just got on with it, and okay, the draw was a little bit favourable for them in the latter stages, but you've got to beat what's in front of you, and they did that very well, and then went ahead in the semi-final and lost the game, like the Euros last year, go ahead in the final and then lose the game. So you sort of think, well, come on now, it's you've had a taste of the semis, you've had a taste of the final. They would have learnt a lot from that, and I think they'll be more determined with the pressure off like it was in Russia. So I think it's good for that. Also, then you've got the timing of the tournament. The English players will be fresh. There's a few injury problems and concerns like this, but there's no burnout. There's no mental sort of tiredness like there is when it comes to like summer championships. But I know everybody's like that. But I think this is unique for the English players as well. So I think that will benefit us very, very much. Well, I hope it's not Argentina, put it that way. But they are one of the favourites. They've done pretty well. I mean, France have had a poor time internationally. Germany as well. Italy aren't there. So, yeah, it's very difficult. And even Belgium are not doing particularly great too. So, a lot of countries coming into this World Cup not in really good form. So it's pretty wide open. I'd hate for it to be a South American. I'd like, because it's in the Qatar, the Middle East, I think. But I'd like it to be a European team if it does win it. But who knows? Brazil, no one's really talked about them. I still think it'll be a European side that will go all the way. But it's about peaking, isn't it? We didn't peak in '86 till the latter stages, and even then, you see what happened in that game. But we peaked when it came to Italia '90. We peaked a lot later. And England have done the same in Russia, and they've done the same as well with the Euros. So I think that's the most experienced England team going into this tournament than before, because of the Euro final and because of 2018. So you hope that experience, that maturity, that understanding, and perhaps the failure as well to drive them. They'll be driven on a lot more. Will stand us in really, really good stead. So I'm looking forward to it, and I think the more that there's a doubt about how we're going to play, etc., I think that will fire Gareth and the boys up a lot more.